If you rent your home, you probably already know this. Rents are up. Zillow.com reports that renters shelled out $441 billion last year, up an average of nearly 5% from 2013.
San Francisco was hit hardest. Rents there rose 13.5%. That is a big jump. But as David Begnaud learned, one Bay Area entrepreneur has a small solution.
For what I want to do, this is the dream house.
Before you judge this man's junk, think inside the box.
What do you envision this place looking like in 6 months?
So basically, it will look much less like a junkyard and much more like a verdant, garden-filled, tiny house community.
And if this is a community, Luke Iseman is the leader, a 31-year-old entrepreneur and graduate of the Wharton School of Business, on a mission to change the way we live.
I think we have an obligation to do interesting stuff that we can argue is changing the world, and to be public about it.
His concept is called Box House. The idea? To convert used shipping containers into tiny houses. It was born out of pure disgust because Iseman felt the rent was outrageous. He was living in San Francisco with his girlfriend, paying $3,500 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. That was a year ago. Today, the average price of a 2-bedroom has jumped to $4,600. That is $1,100 more than New York City, making San Francisco the most expensive place to rent an apartment in the nation. So Iseman left there and headed for Oakland.
Everybody agrees housing is broken. Everybody wants to live in awesome cities like Oakland. We need to come up with something else, and I'm happy to be one of the many failures along the way to figuring that out.
He and 5 friends each put up $30,000 for a down payment on this property. It has a warehouse intended for a commercial kitchen and 2 bathrooms, plus 14 parking spaces. Each space has just enough room for a box house. The rent here, $600 a month.
You can think of it as a really expensive parking space or a really cheap opportunity to invent your ideal house.
Sean Kolk bought into the idea. He's rented a space, purchased a shipping container, and is creating his own version of the American dream.
I don't want a house and a picket fence and a dog and 2.5 kids or whatever it is. I want the freedom to build things that I want to build.
The first box house was built after Iseman bought a shipping container from the Port of Oakland for $2,300. He made $10,000 in upgrades and converted this 192-square-foot container into a box house, complete with a rooftop solar panel.
So I'm able to run my refrigerator. Oh, I'll be right back. I actually left water boiling.
Uh-oh.
Probably not great.
We wondered,
All right, so
where was the restroom? Turns out, it's outside the box.
Large capacity, well aerated compost bin that you can pee into the side of.
His other option? That bucket. But before you pity him, he wants you to know that living large in a tiny space is not about sacrifice, rather prioritizing what he really wants.
We've got a pretty minimalist kitchen. My one pan that I use all the time, cast iron. Chest freezer that with Arduino, a little microcontroller, and like $30, I've converted into a refrigerator. Bed/standing desk during the day, dog area, clothes, working shower, hot and cold.
His shower head is a garden hose nozzle.
It's totally absurd, but this is really, in a lot of ways, a license for us to experiment.
Iseman has been flooded with email inquiries since launching a website 2 months ago, soliciting input and selling box houses. As his business grows, the city of Oakland has some compliance questions. Rachel Flynn is the director of planning and building.
We are not against the idea, it's just very new. And assuming all our building codes can be met, we say have at it.
When it comes to the city and its codes, Iseman says he's operating on this philosophy. He'd rather beg for forgiveness than ask permission.
I should not have to read 10,000 pages of code before I'm able to do something more interesting than live in an apartment. And I'm not going to do it. This is radically affordable and looks weird to everybody, but pretty damn fun so far.
For CBS This Morning Saturday, I'm David Begnaud in Oakland, California.
Well, the price is right, but I hope he has an understanding girlfriend.
They had me to the bucket. Just took it right there.
Yeah, they kind of went over the line there.